I am so excited today to introduce you to these amazing, amazing humans. We're going to have 5 guests. It's going to be a little crowded up in here. And good news, we're going to make this into 2 episodes because there's so much goodness we couldn't capture it all in one episode. We're going to talk about what it is like to be a senior in the final few weeks of school, what it is like to be an immigrant student, what it is like to be a student of color in a predominantly white high school, and the impact that that has on students. And we are just going to get into all of the beautiful, amazing hopes and dreams and wisdom and intuition and creativity that today's guests are going to be on our show. So I cannot wait for you to meet these 5 young women and learn more about them today on Belonging in Classrooms. Okay, it's a whole crew. Welcome today to Belonging in Classrooms. Let's just go down the row and just give me like a word. What's your energy? What are you bringing to the studio today? Say your name first for the audience and then say what kind of energy you're bringing to the studio.
Okay. My name is Anzal, and I'm bringing very good vibes to the studio.
Okay.
My name is Iqra, and I'm bringing funny vibes to the...
Funny. Okay.
Okay. My name is Sarah, and I'm bringing positive vibes to the studio.
Welcome. Welcome.
My name is Fatumo. Thank you for having us.
Yes.
And I'll be bringing funny, I guess.
Sure. Okay. And confidence, I get a vibe from you.
Comedians.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm not that confident. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe by the end.
Yeah.
Last but not least, I want to say hi to the viewers. My name is Aisha, and I'm bringing good vibes to the group.
Okay. I love it. All right. So you all wanted to come on. So we are squished in here.
Yeah.
We're squished in because we didn't want to leave anybody out. Mm-hmm. Today we want to talk a little bit about what you all want to talk about, which is senioritis. So tell me what senioritis is.
Okay, let's say freshman year, you're coming into high school, and you're on top of like the mountain, okay? And you're doing good, and you want to make a good impression on your teachers and your classmates and whatnot. Senioritis is basically when you hit the end of the road. And then you realize that you already gave your all the past 3 years, and then it's like, oh, maybe I can finally relax now. But then you get a little too carried away with it, you know?
Yeah. Okay. What's the result of too carried away? What can be the result of too carried away?
A phone call home.
Oh, like a teacher's call your?
Yeah, like bad attendance and your grades dropping.
So you did all this work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh, I don't want to turn in that one more paper.
Right.
Yeah. So why do you feel like you succumb to senioritis? Like, why is it tempting?
I think it's because... Oh, my bad.
Go ahead. Do it.
I think it's because, like, we got our college decisions back and stuff. And so, like, knowing that we have, like...
You're locked in.
Yeah, locked in and have a place to go after.
Yeah.
You just become lazy, you know? There's a lot of tendency, especially with certain colleges. There's, like, certain requirements you have to follow through. Yeah. And sometimes, like, you already follow through the requirements, so there's no point of, like, coming back to school and stuff.
So it feels pointless.
Yeah.
The end of this feels pointless.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I remember when my kids were getting done with 5th grade and they were like, I'm sick of walking in lines. I want to walk freely in a hallway. And that became their biggest complaint. What do you think is the biggest complaint for you right now of being seniors? Like you're almost there. You're almost to cap and gown night. And what are you the most sick of?
Probably like coming inside the school building.
Oh, you've just outgrown the building.
There's no point, I feel like, at this point.
Being in class,
we can get,
just
like,
sitting there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
The
me-
assignments, too, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, for me, it's like the projects and stuff. Like, we're almost done. Why are you giving us projects at the end of the year? And, like, the essays, I feel like it's so useless. Like, we've been doing essays all 4 years of high school. You can't give us a break at the end of senior year. And that's, like, the one problem we have. Because why? Like, why are we doing this?
Okay. Let's pretend you're the teachers of seniors. So let's fast forward. It's 20 years into the future. Now you're all teachers. And now here's the thing that happens all the time to grownups, just so you know. We all think for sure that we're going to remember this feeling. Like, do you think that you will ever get to a day where you will be as annoying as grownups are to you right now?
As grown-ups?
Yeah. Like, let's just say when you're an adult, like you got kids and a job and a career, right? Do you think you'll be like, I will never be that annoying?
Oh, yeah.
I will be that annoying.
Oh, you do think you will be. Okay. Anybody else?
Because right now you think like, oh, they're dramatic, they're doing this and that, but then I feel like when I get older, I'm gonna understand.
Yeah.
Right now, I do kind of understand, like my parents and everything like that.
Yeah.
I do kind of understand, but I feel like when I get older, I'm just gonna be like them.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm saying is pretend it's 20 years from now and you're the teacher, but you kind of would remember this. What would you do to keep senioritis from happening as an educator?
I feel like starting from May, I want to assign any projects.
Okay.
I'll start doing like attendance-based assignments. Like, oh, we're gonna have an exit ticket question, and that's it. But I feel like project is what makes the seniors give up, because at that point, there's no point.
Yeah,
That makes
right.
sense.
I get exactly what.
Yeah.
So you're saying like they're saying, hey, it really matters. It really matters. You're almost done. You're almost done. But you're like, just let us show up.
Yeah.
Let us show up. Let us do what we can. Okay, how would you make it interesting? How would you make class interesting?
I feel like there's no way to do that. To be honest.
You're being honest, right? So
Yeah.
you're not necessarily saying there's something that the educators are doing wrong.
Yeah.
You're just saying this is where you're at mentally.
It's very hard to engage kids at that age. Like when they're already done. Like
Yeah.
right now, the teachers are mostly like assigning like assignments that like to like trap the students in to make sure that they come to class, like grading them on attendance. Like right now we're being graded on attendance, and if like we slip on up on like a 1 day or 2, then our grades are gonna go down. So I feel like there's really no way. It's very hard to engage students our age, because at this point, like at the end of the road, we're done with it, because we already got our college decisions, and we're like, oh, why are we here
So do you think they should just run graduation earlier?
Yeah.
at this point?
or just let the seniors leave earlier than everyone else.
Would that feel like enough of a reward? Don't some seniors get to leave earlier?
Yeah, but just 1 week. We only get 1 week.
Oh, I meant every day.
No,
Like
no.
release hours.
Because that depends
Yeah.
on everyone's schedules. Because I come in late, so it depends on everyone's schedules and
The
like
thing
the
is,
credits.
for everyone, like the seniors, I heard that everyone got a release period first hour only, but not the rest of the classes. And she got to choose the release periods like during the classes, and she got like online classes, so it's different for everyone else. But I feel like they should like actually let us not go to school for like the last 3 weeks.
For the last 3 weeks. But then, okay, but let's just be real. If they did that 3 weeks ago, would 3 weeks ago been harder for you than now? Is it just because you're coming up against that deadline is my question.
Basically, I think.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been quiet. What do you think?
I don't know. I'm the biggest procrastinator, so I feel like if if I had like a 3-week deadline beforehand, I would have like gone to my grind and finished it all. I feel like if the deadlines are getting closer and closer, I would put the effort into like coming to class, doing the work and everything, because that's what pushes me to like grind and put effort into my work and stuff.
Do you think that's what you're going to do in college?
Oh no, college I'm gonna take it seriously.
Yeah, you're going to be a totally different person for college.
Like,
Yes.
no, because like I
Yes.
get it. There's like frat parties, there's things to do, but like I'm not gonna engage in a lot of that because I'm gonna become a doctor. So like I have priorities
Yeah.
that I want to have like straightforward when I go into college and stuff.
She'll be responsible with her timing and the assignments and all
Yeah.
that.
Because this year, after senior year, I reflected a lot and I learned a lot that I should not be lazy. I said this year's my only year of fun, and then I'll go back to being my like 9th grade, 10th grade self. You know?
Okay, can we talk about the pressure that you all feel as like maybe you're hovering on the end of first generation immigrants, maybe you're second generation, you know, depending on when your parents came to this country, but how much pressure is there to like be successful on you all, like from your family, from the environment, like what is that like to be both like a senior, like you're doing all of this work as students, but then like there's also this whole other identity and piece to you. Can we just like talk about that a little bit?
I think with the concept of like immigrant parents and everything,
Yeah.
I feel like every immigrant child would want to like do their best to be successful, because you know that your parents worked this hard to get to America, to get jobs and to put a roof over your head. So even if it's like senioritis or whatnot, like you still like have like a little bit of you that like you still want to push forward, because at the end of the day, you don't want to disappoint your parents because they did so much for you. Yeah.
So it's not when you're talking about, I want to ask more about that.
Okay.
When you're talking about showing up, you do sort of hold another layer of responsibility of like I don't know that my kids walk into every class like I don't want to disappoint my mom.
Yeah. No.
You know what I mean? But you feel that, like you feel like my parents gave up so much. I have to make the most of this opportunity.
Yeah, because sometimes like you would skip classes, but like when you realize that you've been doing it too much, it's like, oh, I should probably like hold back on this because I don't want like anyone finding out that I'm doing this and whatnot. You know, so it's like I don't want to disappoint them. So like I gotta keep up the facade. But, yeah.
The facade. Oh, that says a lot. What else? What else? What do you want to say?
I feel like I would mostly just go to class and do like everything I need to do just to prove my parents wrong. When they say something like, oh, you're not going to graduate. Oh, you're not going to get anywhere in life. You're not going to have a good future. I'm trying to prove them right. I don't care about disappointing them. I'm trying to prove them wrong.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. That's fascinating. Okay, so they use a little more like, they might use more negative reinforcement to try to get you to do things. And for you, it kind of like puts a burr in your saddle.
Yeah.
So you're like, do you know what that phrase means?
No.
Okay. It's like if they wanted a horse to do something like buck, right? You would put something sharp in the saddle and then you sit on it and then they have a reaction. So your parents sometimes like might be using like negative reinforcement to get you to do what they want, but I don't know. I mean, who knows? What do you think? Do you feel pressure?
I feel like I don't feel pressure from my parents. I feel pressure from myself because I have like Sarah said, I feel like I'll be disappointed in myself for my parents. Like I feel like if I seen myself like go down this route, like if I start skipping too much or have senioritis get to me, I feel like my parents will be disappointed. So before it gets to that stage, I try to correct myself. So I'll try to get disappointed on myself on behalf of my parents before they do. So just like to get their reaction ahead of time. Yeah.
That's an incredibly complex thing. Anybody on the end want to chime in about this, like disappointing parents?
Yeah. Okay. So to be honest, I wouldn't do it for them because at the end of the day, it's my life. It depends on what I do because it's gonna affect me. So I'm like, I can prove them. Right, they might like Anzal said, the whole negative comments or whatever. I'm gonna just be like, okay, because at the end of the day, I'm not gonna depend on them. I'm not gonna see them. I'm gonna be my own person. You know. So I'm like, I'm working hard for myself, even if this whole thing is gonna be like the end of it, the end of the road. There's more to it. Yeah.
Anything you want to add?
For me, I kind of relate with everybody. So honestly, like for me, when it comes to pressure, I would say like I do it onto myself rather than my parents, because my parents always had my back and stuff, and like they've always been supportive of me. So like it only like came towards what I do and what I've been doing at school and what I put like my pressure on, and so like it just boils down to like me and what I do and stuff.
Okay, let's talk about the allure of skipping a class. Let's get down to the real convo. Why skip a class? And what does everybody do when they skip? Why do you skip? What do you do when you skip? Let's start with those two questions, and then I'll have a third.
You got it.
Sometimes, no, actually, all the time.
Yeah.
When I skip, I just either don't come to the school building, like I stay home. My house is nearby the school.
Okay.
Or I stay in the media center. But the reason why I skip, it's mostly because the classes are draining and boring, and like it's just sometimes it's too much to handle.
Like what you mean? Like you emotionally, mentally, physically, like what is too much?
The vibes of the classroom.
The vibes are.
Yeah.
Now, do you mean like the other students?
Sometimes, yeah.
The other students, yeah. Okay. Sometimes the educator, sometimes the content, sometimes just the other kids. Okay. What about why would you skip?
I feel like most of the times I skip just so I can catch up on that class. Like for example, for math, I could be behind like a paper, but if I go to the class, he'll probably hand me another paper, so I won't be able to get that paper done. And most of the time, I don't like doing the homework at home. So I skip to do the homework in school. So I keep falling behind because I'm trying to catch up. But doing that makes me want to skip more. If that makes sense?
It totally makes sense. Yeah, there's not, like when I feel the most overwhelmed is when I'm like, I will just, I walk around or I can't. Or if there's something that, I'll be honest, if there's something I feel like I'm going to fail at, that's probably where I'll procrastinate. Yeah. What about you, Sarah?
I'd agree because our math class is like kind of like it's very draining.
Yeah.
So most of the time, like if there's a test I'm not prepared for, I'm gonna like be in the media center and like ask her to help me out and study and whatnot. But for other classes, it would mostly be because like in my head, I'm thinking like, oh, I don't need to be in class today because I'm not going to miss out on learning anything. Because sometimes we have lectures and I'm just like, oh, like if it's not graded, there's no point in me being there. And yeah, that's mostly it.
Okay.
The reasons why I skip is, let's say I skip like 1 day or 2 days in a row, right? And then the next I can't go back. I just can't not enter that door. There's just something about that class. Like I go 1 day, I don't go the next day. I'm not gonna go the next day. It's just, I don't know. There's just energy that just pulls you like, don't go in that class. No.
And is it because you're like, you don't want to face the like, where have you been question? Not for you? No. Other people said yes.
Really? It's
Yeah.
so awkward.
It's so awkward. They make too big of a deal out of when you miss.
Yeah, I have to make up new excuses every day. Like I'm tired.
They don't ask me all that. It's just my teachers. They'd be like, "Oh, it's nice to see you. I'm glad you're in class today," and that's it. You know.
So is it guilt that keeps you from going in?
Not really.
Not for
It's
you?
just, no, I you know when you just miss too much of class,
Yeah.
and you can't enter the door because like you get anxiety, like you're just.
Oh, it's anxiety.
Yeah, I can't go back. Like I don't want to enter that door.
It's anxiety.
Basically.
Okay. For you.
Yeah.
Okay.
For me, I'll say the same thing because, like, you know, sometimes when you miss like a certain class multiple times,
Yeah.
you just don't want to go back to that class because it's kind of like awkward and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I would also say like friends in the class because I tend to like take different classes than like majority of these people. So like I don't know peers in my classes like that, and so I'm often like in my own corner, just minding my own business and stuff. And so like I tend to not go to class for that reason. And also I do a lot of self study. Like I go home, I study myself. So like why do I need to listen to teacher yap when I can do it myself and learn it myself? You know? So yeah.
So in other words, you feel like you learn more when you take in the content on your own time.
Yeah, because a lot of the stuff, because it's online, like we did a lot of online school stuff, so teachers tend to like keep like post like things that we do, like slides that we do in class, online, and so like I could just go on the internet and just find it and like learn it myself, you know.
Do you think that being, what were you all, freshmen during the lockdown year?
Yeah.
Do you think that eighth grade year?
Yeah.
Eighth grade year was the full lockdown year.
Ninth grade was.
No, eighth grade. Yeah,
No,
Ninth
eighth
grade
grade in the middle of like the ending.
Toward the end of eighth grade, we went into lockdown,
Yeah.
and then we went almost all of ninth grade. Toward the end of ninth grade, we got to go back, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that what do you think about the pandemic and the way that it affected you as a learner? Do you think all that time online changed the way your brain works, changed the way you think about school? I mean, do you remember? Does school feel different post-pandemic than it did?
I honestly think so. The pandemic taught me like how to teach myself a lot of stuff, because most of the times we would have Zoom meetings, but those Zoom meetings were not to teach, but rather attendance-wise. So we would be assigned something and be told to watch a video that the teacher posted. So that's kind of us learning the thing by ourselves.
To take it in.
In the comfort of my house sometimes.
Yeah. What about, do you remember what your body felt like in class pre-pandemic? Was it more patient?
I don't even remember.
You don't remember?
Like before the
Sleepy.
pandemic?
Yeah.
Don't even remember.
I was sleeping half of the time.
No, I mean during the pandemic you were. But I'm saying like when you were in middle school, do you remember, did your body have more endurance to go to class before the pandemic?
The teacher actually taught us there.
Yeah.
Because they would have like slides and everything. We wouldn't really have to watch a video and like take notes. But they would actually like be up there teaching us and give us assignments and everything like that. But I feel like after the pandemic, everything's like, oh, watch this video, answer these questions, and all that type of stuff.
Oh, so you haven't changed alone. You think educators have changed with you.
Yeah,
The
'cause
pandemic
I
changed
feel
yours.
like everyone changed to online anyway, so everything's just open your Chromebook and do this and search, like look at this article and all that type of stuff. You know?
I feel that. Yeah. Okay, I think we have a lot more to talk about. I'm very excited. I do want to just ask you, is there anything your educators could do, if there was one thing you could teach, you could say to your educators about like when you skip, how do you want them to welcome you back that would help with that feeling outside the door? Or what would help you, what could they do to make you excited to come to that class? I would just like to know, answer it either way.
Less discussions.
Less discussions, like whole classroom discussions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the worst thing.
Why?
I hate class discussions.
I would have. Okay.
And that's also part of where I said classes are draining because of students. Because like some people just like to make fun of others or like don't let other people speak and they just talk over them. So it's like, why are you doing all this? And we're getting graded for this. So they're just ruining our time, like wasting our time. So yeah.
So you
Class
get graded
discussions
for
are bad.
class discussion, but then
Yeah.
if somebody's monopolizing it, they're getting like an A for monopolizing?
Yeah, because they do like speaker points and everything.
Yeah.
Class, like the discussions are like 50-50 depending on what class you're in. Because past class discussions, they weren't so bad.
Yeah.
Because I would be able to talk freely and like no one would ever look at me sideways. But sometimes it's like, oh, if I say something, someone's gonna back up off of that and like
Yeah.
disagree, but like in like the most non-polite way ever.
Yeah.
You know, like when everyone says like disagree, but like say like, oh, I disagree, but instead like now it's like everyone's saying like, no, you're wrong and I'm right. Like
Yeah.
that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's so draining for me to talk in front of the class at that point.
Yeah.
Like having the risk that someone else will publicly like sort of
Embarrass
you.
Yeah.
That's a big risk socially.
Yeah. That's why sometimes we
And then
don't
the
even-
pressure on top of that, like if I don't speak up now, I'm going to get a B.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a C.
Yeah.
Ooh, I didn't know that that's how that happened.
Sometimes, but now I just take the B. It's like,
Yeah. We gave up on it.
It reminds me of my daughter had a music teacher who went to Lindale. Yeah. Okay. What was the music teacher's name?
Oh, Miss Farrell.
Legendary. Right. And I remember that she said to my daughter, you know, if you sat up straighter and taller and did like this, you could be a 3 music student. And instead you're a 2. And my daughter looked at her and said, I'll take a 2.
Yep.
Right. And that's kind of sometimes where you're like, look, if you're going to ask things of me that are so draining or that other students don't respect, I'm happy to just take this. Like, I'm not going to struggle for that. That makes sense.
yeah.
All right. We're going to pause here. We're going to come back for part 2 because there's just too much goodness to say. All right. So thank you all so much. I can't wait to talk a little bit more about like identities in school in part 2.
Okay.